everybody, this is Gina from HauntedFlower.com and HauntedFlowerReviews.com, and today we've got my cat Harley sitting in for these reviews. So I'm going to be doing the reviews for titles that came out on July 26th. I'm splitting them up into two videos because I have 6 shows here. I'm going to do the Blu-rays first. For the Blu-rays, we've got Source Code, Matrimony, and Trust. In my next video for the DVDs, just in case you're curious, we're going to have Dylan Dog Dead of Night, Mark of Love, and Will the Real Terrorist Please Stand Up? So get excited now. Let's start with the best one in the bunch for the Blu-rays, Source Code. This is a pretty decent movie. It's got a little bit of a time travel aspect 10 years after Donnie Darko, and this character basically gets to replay out the same 8 minutes on a train over and over again until he can find the bomber. The main character is played by Jake Gyllenhaal, and he gets to have some romantic interactions with Michelle Monaghan. Also along the way, he is in communication with a woman who has been directing him on this mission, and she is played by Vera Farmiga. And her boss is played by Jeffrey Wright. This is kind of a fun sci-fi adventure type movie, and there are some plot holes in it that don't make a lick of sense. But if you can get beyond that, then I thought it was pretty enjoyable for the most part. I had some issues with the ending at the time, but watching it now the second time, I actually liked it quite a bit better. For extras, you can have audio commentary with director Duncan Jones, writer Ben Ripley, and the actor Jake Gyllenhaal. Did anyone else see Man vs. Wild with Jake Gyllenhaal? Oh my god, it was awesome! And for the other special features, it's my favorite. It's Maximum Movie Mode, but they don't call it that. They call it Access Source Code. It's a little different than the regular Maximum Movie Mode because they actually give you an option. There are 5 different types of things they can show you during the movie, and if you want, if you're like maybe only interested in cast and crew interviews, you can select that, and every once in a while one of those will pop up. But if you just leave all of them on, you'll see a bunch of different things. There'll be the interviews, there's this little did you know thing that reminds me of MTV's pop-up video when they used to play music videos. A lot of the did you know stuff is completely unrelated to the movie, just random stuff. And you also get to hear some extras about like time travel and some fun little trivia and facts about the movie. And it's all just kind of put together, showing up on the screen every 2 seconds with a little timer countdown in the corner that's showing you how many seconds until the next thing pops up on the screen. What I like about that feature is you get to see all the special features at once, and unlike separate special features where you're watching it and then you're like, this isn't as interesting as I thought it would be, at least if they're playing it kind of with a picture-in-picture with the movie, you can go back to watching the movie when it's dull, and then you go back to the features when it's interesting. And you can also piggyback off of what's going on in the scene if you're talking about how you did the scene, which I really enjoy. The next one is a scary Asian horror movie called Matrimony. At least I thought it was going to be scary. Honestly, I do not have a good scare resistance. So I was watching this movie like in the middle of the day. I had the volume set kind of lower, and I was just waiting for those big blah. And every time they had one of those, they played lots of music. You knew it was always coming, and it was never as bad as you thought it was going to be. This is a ghostly Chinese love story. Basically, this girl, Manli, is in love with this guy, and they are engaged to be married, and then one day, she gets into a horrible accident and dies. Fast forward some time later, his mother gets involved and makes him marry someone else so that he can start to heal, and he's just not a fan of the woman he's married to. He can barely tolerate her because he's still in love with the memory of his fiancée. Well, it turns out the ghost of the fiancé is lingering around too, and she wants to help him, so she offers to take over this new wife's body to make him feel better for a little while. Well, then, you know, before you know it, they're fighting over who's going to have control of the body. There's lots of fun symbolic things, like the fiancé is always wearing this really bright red dress or bright red heels. They cut their hair to look like each other. And of course, there's like scary drowning bathtub sort of things going on. I expected it to be really, really scary, and it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. There are no extras, it's in Mandarin with subtitles, and it's 87 minutes long. This next film is a bit scarier. This is Trust on Blu-ray, directed by David Schwimmer from Friends, and it stars Clive Owen and Catherine Keener as concerned parents of this girl, Annie, who is played by Liana Liberato. This is a story of a young girl who is talking to a boy who lives across the country online. They're talking about volleyball. He's only a couple years older than her. They develop a friendship, and then one day he announces, "Oh, by the way, I'm not actually 16. I'm 20. This is the first of many things about this guy that turned out not to be true, and before you know it, this poor girl is involved with a sexual predator, and her parents are none the wiser, and it's scary. It's scary to see the lengths that the guy will go to, that this poor girl will go to, and then to see how much it destroys the family once they do find out. Clive Owen's character kind of makes it his mission to track down this guy and get him, and he just goes to some extremes, and it's sad, and it's scary, and it's disturbing, and it just, really got me in some ways. So this one is worth checking out as a rental, but it might just freak you out if you're a parent, so I don't know, it might give you nightmares. You might not want that. For extras, there's a featurette Between the Lines where they have basically a making of the movie, talking to the directors, the cast, seeing how it all came together, what the story was based on David Schwimmer's personal relationships with organizations he's involved with to try and prevent these sort of things. And also there are film outtakes, which I was like, that's strange. Why would a film this serious have bloopers? They're not bloopers. Outtakes are deleted scenes in this, so don't be too confused. And a lot of it is just small, minimal stuff, husband and wife interacting in a kitchen, that sort of thing. So out of these titles this week, I would say I would recommend Source Code. I think this was the best thing that came out this week, and it's a pretty good movie, it's a pretty good thriller, and it's really fun figuring it out as you go, which is awesome. Thank you for watching my part 1 of the July 26th releases, and I hope you'll join me for part 2 next. Bye! For more reviews and to find out about free contest giveaways, go to hauntedflowerreviews.com. My reviews are also available as a podcast on iTunes. Search for Haunted Flower Reviews and subscribe and leave us feedback and comments. Our store is hauntedflower.com, where we specialize in fantastic licensed apparel from movies, TV shows, video games, anime, and more. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/hauntedflower and Twitter at haunted_flower.
If you're local to the Indianapolis area, visit indiemojo.com for details on how you can win free screening passes.